Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chartwise Women with Erin Swenlin and Mary Ellen McGonagle. Welcome to our Thursday, May 27th, 2021 show. And we're off. Today we're going to be looking at movies and the stocks that we think are related to it. So now that the movie theaters are opening, I think it's time we can start considering going back to the theater, and I think we'll have quite a few movies to recall some memories. How are you doing today, Mary Ellen?
Good. I'm loving this this picture. It reminds me, I did make it to the movies 2 weeks ago. Was on my way out to dinner with my daughter, and we passed the theater, and that popcorn smell just drew us right in. And it was so lovely to be back. Everyone was very socially distanced, and it was great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to the theater myself. It's been way too long. Definitely on my list of things to do, and concerts. I can't wait for those to start back up.
Sure.
All right, well, let's get right into it. We do have a lot of stocks to share. First, we'll start with our wisdom of the week. And mine is the first one. And it says, give a screen test to a stock for a starring role in your portfolio. A screen test for me is running my scans and finding those stocks that are getting ready to make those turns and give us some nice upside potential. And they should end up as a starring role in your portfolio. How about you, Mary Ellen?
Yeah, mine is have guidelines. It's important to let these starring stocks come to you, otherwise known as winning stocks. And some of those guidelines for me are going to be your relative outperformers. If they have the fundamentals behind them, they'll go on to continue to outperform. You want to make sure you're in that correct, by the way, strong industry group. And then also volume characteristics are going to guide you. And all of those types of screening can give you an edge by putting you in front of these starring stocks.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. What's our first movie going to be? Oh, A Day at the Movies. So I thought we could look really quickly at AMC, and then we'll get into some of the other movies. But since we have it right there on the screen, I think it would be great to look at AMC.
So I guess today we're going to be using movies as a metaphor to help you get in front of these stocks.
Indeed. And you can see this is a prior meme stock, and it is taking off today at 41% so far up. I mean, I don't know what to say about these meme stocks. Personally, I haven't been getting involved in them, but when you see a 41% move, you kind of wish you had.
Yeah, this stock did have that nice space breakout, really high volume characteristics. I talked about that earlier, that concept that having the volume can foretell future upside for the stock. And then, of course, that PMO, other characteristics. So while one may shy away, there are definite moves that are taking place. And of course, if you are comfortable, take advantage.
Yep. I would say this one's going to be due for a pullback, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Go back to that overbought position at the end of January, similar to now.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at some other movies. And I think we're going to go to yours first with planes, trains, and automobiles. And you have some to show us.
Yeah, that was a fun Kevin Bacon movie back in the late 80s. So from here, we can go ahead and take a look at some stocks that tie in with that movie theme. So first up, let's take a look at an automobile stock that is on the move today. And this is General Motors. GM is the ticker. We're looking at a daily price chart. And the stock did peak in price back here in April, had a very orderly pullback, but today it did gap up almost 3%. Very positive news. This company did have to delay manufacturing of some of their vehicle plants because of semiconductor chip shortages. Today they announced that some of these manufacturing plants are reopening. So the market is, the stock is poised to break out of this nice multi-month base. You're momentum indicator down here, MACD, is just poised to turn positive. So this is a very, very bullish chart. The RSI is positive. I would take you back to the beginning of this year with that kind of MACD similar characteristic, RSI turning positive and base breakout did foretell a nice lengthy upside. And so from here, we can take a look at a rail stock. Why not? First up here is Canadian Pacific. CP is the ticker symbol, and we can see it's been a little bit bumpy. Right now, the stock is experiencing what I could only call an orderly pullback after its peak in price here earlier on Monday. The stock did hit a new high in price. However, I will urge you again, you're going to want to pay attention to those momentum indicators. This is part of those guidelines that I talked about earlier. And we can see that the MACD is up here at a very high level. We can go back again to the beginning of this year, similar position, and it did foretell a pullback. It's more of an alert, not a definite, but something to keep in mind. And then one last name that we can look at in that auto space is Ford, which had their EV, their day where they speak with shareholders, and nothing but good news and blue skies ahead. Big volume characteristics, again, that foretelling here. Earlier, actually, this was at the end of last week, foretold this move this week. So a couple of autos and trains in line with that planes, trains, and automobiles stock movie.
All right, sounds good. How about, do you mind putting up jets for us?
Oh, absolutely. We certainly can take a look at that because we did leave out the plane part of the JETS, and this is the ETF for airplane stocks, and it's setting up very nicely, Erin. Wouldn't you say it's part of that recovery, economic recovery trade?
Absolutely. We had some diamonds in the rough last week that were right there in that jets space. So I definitely am liking airlines right now, and they are breaking out.
Yeah, looking very attractive, reversing this downtrend, breaking above key moving averages with your outside momentum indicators in a bullish position.
All right, let's go to our next movie. And this is going to be mine. We are going to look at, I don't know if anybody remembers that movie Up in Smoke, but it is a movie all about cannabis and marijuana. And I'll tell you what, those marijuana stocks are looking really good right now. We did the pitch this morning, Mary Ellen and I, and
yes,
to bring some of these charts to Chartwise women. They're looking great. So the two that came up in my scan were Aurora Cannabis, ACB, got the falling wedge, got a nice breakout here. And the upside potential on this one is just crazy. I really like it. Congress is getting ready to introduce a bill on legalizing it federally, allowing it to be a medical marijuana to be given to veterans from the VA, and taking it off of Schedule 1. So it could be a really big move for cannabis here soon. And I think we're getting in on it nice and early. The other quick one I'll look at is Clever Leaves International. And both of these are really low price stocks. So you need to be careful with the way you position size. But look at the upside potential on Clever Leaves International. Really nice breakout after this long declining trend in a falling wedge, which is positive. You can see those crossover buy signals coming in, the positive RSI. So I really am liking the cannabis related stocks. A couple others that I'm not going to cover. Tilray would be another one, TLRY, and CGC, Canopy Growth. I think all of those charts look pretty good right now.
Very good.
All right, what's next? Oh yes, we're going to go into The Big Short. That Big Short was great. That was all about the housing crisis. And if anybody hasn't watched this movie, highly recommend it. It's excellent. So let's look at a couple of real estate names. I know, Mary Ellen, that you recently tweeted about some of the real estate stocks. Do you have any that you might be willing to share with us?
Absolutely. And actually, housing stocks have been a bit dicey of late, if you will, for lack of a better word, but they are coming back into favor, and it is all about interest rates that are being at record lows and demand at record highs. And this is all about the 30 to 45-year-olds purchasing, whether it's their first or second home. We're looking at Toll Brothers here, TOL. So here we are. And so we can see that in line with other home builders, they did have a serious pullback here, all about inflation fears, whether sales could continue at the rapid pace that they've been taking place. Toll Brothers just came out with numbers and they were very, very strong. They're seeing great growth in their luxury home division. And we can see, take a look, this is really ideal when you're looking for a pullback or downtrend reversal. Use this MACD momentum indicator. We can see it's just poised. You're looking for that signal, black line up through the red, emerging from a low position, and then that RSI above 50 and trending upward, and the stock breaking back above each of its shorter term moving averages. So that certainly is one name. They are nearby. I just looked at a bunch of their homes 2 weeks ago, and whew, knocks your socks off. Every single home sold, and a very lengthy waiting list. And these were $3-4 million homes.
Mm.
Here's a turnaround, KBH, one to keep on your radar. I pulled back a bit more than the group, but what we're on the lookout for is a break back above that 50-day simple moving average right here at that 47 level. We're just now getting that RSI into positive territory. As it relates to momentum, we can see this nice shift just about ready to take place. This black line up through the red will be your first signal. You can go back to the beginning of the year, keep an eye out for this very similar action, trades above the MAVs and that nice crossover signal. And you can see it gets you in front of and historically has precedence to get you in front of a nice potential move.
Excellent, excellent. I have one I'm going to share with everybody here. And this one is going to be SPG. This one came up on a scan recently for me.
Oh, the REITs. Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is a retail REIT. And actually, I saw a lot of retail REITs coming up on my scans.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a nice little breakout here and above this area of overhead resistance. We've got an RSI that's positive, not quite overbought yet. But this is the key right here, that crossover buy signal on the PMO, which is my momentum indicator. And you can see the volume's been a little quiet, but overall we're getting a little bit of a rise here. So as long as we're not seeing the volume really decline here on this move, I think we're in good shape. So this is one that I definitely liked in that area.
Yeah, this stock actually offers a nice 4% yield. I did an article last weekend, and there was a study done that higher yielding stocks outperform during periods of rising inflation. So something of note. So SPG has that nice 4% yield.
Perfect. The next one is, honestly, it's one of my favorite movies out there. And that would be The Hangover. Absolutely love that movie. Not that I could totally relate to it, but I just thought it was so hilarious. But it all takes place in Vegas. And so I know we have some excellent stocks to share with you there. I'll let you go first. And then I know.
Yeah, you bet. And of course, for those of you not familiar, it's all, as Erin mentioned, it is all about a boys' trip, if you will, to Vegas gone wrong. And one of the scenes, very famous, had that tiger where they wake up with it in their home. But here we are looking at MGM Resorts, of course, one of Vegas' better known casinos. And the company just announced that they are very close to resuming 100% occupancy. So that's really big news, certainly among the hotel space. And Vegas, for those of you not familiar, it's outside of Los Angeles. It's about a 4 to 5 hour automobile ride, depending on how quickly you drive. But it is seeing a lot of traction. There are tourists coming back in droves. And here we can see the stock very nicely breaking out of this nice 3-week base. We talk a lot about this momentum shift, and it is taking place here with your outside momentum indicators looking quite positive. So MGM is certainly one name. I can, of course, share another stock that is more alcohol related. I know that played a center role in that movie Hangover, of course,
Absolutely, it did.
given the name. This is Molson, Coors Brewing, TAP. A lot of these brewers are coming out with spiked seltzer that is really improving their sales profile. We can see that the stock hit a peak in price at the beginning of this month, pulled back very orderly to this upward trending 21-day simple moving average. And as that moving average trends higher, look for this to continue to trade higher as well.
Excellent. I'm just going to share two really quickly. And those are Penn National Gaming, a gambling stock. And you can see it's just now starting to make that turn, a little bit of a double bottom here in the short term. Seeing price getting above that 200-day EMA. Again, another crossover buy signal from my PMO. We still have a negative RSI, so it might be wise to wait and make sure that it can overcome this area of overhead resistance where it is certainly having a little bit of trouble right now. I know Mary Ellen, watching that 50-day moving average is very important as well. And then finally, last one for the Hangover is Wynn. This is also in the gambling space, a little bit more constructive chart, I would say. Still dealing with a little bit of overhead resistance here that's going to be coming in right around 138, but we have that crossover buy signal. And in this case, we already have a positive RSI. So I'm liking Win as well in that gambling area. All right, next up, we got to keep moving. We got a lot of stocks to share.
Yeah, lots of fun movies to talk about as well.
Exactly. So National Lampoon's Vacation with Chevy Chase. So if we're going to go on vacation right now, where are some of the places you'd like to be? I'm going to share two of mine, and then if you had some too you wanted to share. But
I just thought we could talk about that car.
Oh, I know. Isn't it beautiful?
The Woody, very California.
All right. Disney has been showing up on my scans of late. You can see that it is making a nice turn here. It's now getting above that 20-day moving average. Want to pay attention to that 50 though, because it's been a bone of contention, if you will, for Disney, not being able to really push past that 50-day. But everything is really lining up. We have not a crossover buy signal yet. The RSI is not quite positive, but this one is certainly one to watch. And then the other one I brought to the pitch, and that is Marriott, which I think is also looking very interesting going into the summer. Crossover buy signal has happened, positive RSI, falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern, positive divergence with the OBV, double bottom in the short term. I mean, there's not much more you could ask of a stock. I think this one looks pretty good too. Did you have some for vacation?
I absolutely did, as far as areas, and of course, being out here in California, Southern California, we're going to have a few more choices because it is a favorite tourist destination. And first up here is SeaWorld, located in San Diego. SEAS is the ticker symbol. Not overly dynamic, but we do have some nice positive characteristics that are taking shape here. One is the fact that the stock is poised to break out of this nice 1-month base. And also we have the RSI trending upward. And this is something we've talked about quite a bit here. is that momentum indicator. So the stock really has been in a go nowhere environment for quite some time, for almost 3 months as this MACD trended downward, but we are getting that nice crossover. So I would like to see a little bit more volume. If that takes place on the breakout, we can see the significance of higher volume back here. That really would get me a lot more excited about SeaWorld. Another one that we can take a look at, not so much a destination, but certainly a way that you can book or actually get travel deals. I've used this for restaurants locally, but they do have a great section and area that points you toward all-inclusive travel deals. It's called Travel Zoo, TZOO. Again, not overly dynamic, but really holding in quite well, finding support at these upward trending, simple moving averages. If we can get a nice base breakout here on volume, I think Travel Zoo could be off to the races.
I like that. That's another great chart. Yeah, I think with summer coming up, we were looking at reopening stocks, but now I think a lot of those cyclicals and travel and tourism, entertainment industry groups, those are really starting to perform well.
And it makes sense, right? I think, in fact, I'm due to head to New York this weekend for a family-related affair, if you will, and hard to find flights. Well, it's after this weekend. I think Memorial Day is going to. They're already citing huge pickups this weekend in travel. So just the beginning, right?
Yes, absolutely. I know we're looking at some travel coming up this summer as well. So I think these are going to be some great places to be. Let's go ahead and move to our next one, which is another area of interest these days. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually am not a huge fan of a lot of the hero type Marvel movies, but I have to say, I really enjoyed this particular one. The comedy in it is just great, hard to beat. So I don't know about you if you've watched it, but I have to say it's definitely worth a rent.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really quite fun. All right, so space, the final frontier, right? You've heard a lot of news lately going on in this area. And Virgin Galactic is one that is certainly right up there in the news. They made a recent launch. They're getting ever closer.
Yeah, it was successful.
Yeah. And look at this beautiful breakout that we had here above the 50. Nice gap up. Pretty much looked like a gap, a breakaway gap going on, and now a runaway gap. Everything is looking great for this stock. I'd say a little bit on the overbought side as far as the RSI, but boy, that momentum is looking fabulous. And I have one more, and that is Kratos in the defense area. And I like this one as well. Look at that bounce from that 200-day moving average. That seems to be its place to give us those nice reversals. And this one is on its way. And again, you've got that PMO, it's rising. We don't have the buy signal yet. The RSI is still negative, but I have to say this looks like a pretty nice move to the upside.
Very good, very good.
Do you have any in that area that you'd like to share?
I don't actually. It's not an area that I follow particularly closely. I know that we have that ETF Moon, MOON, but it's not exactly entirely space related, but it is futuristic, if you will, as far as the direction that the underlying stocks are pointed toward.
This is very nice. You've got that 5-day, 20-day EMA positive crossover, which is a nice short-term trend model buy signal at decision point. You have that PMO buy signal. So this does seem like another area that you might want to consider for a starring role in your portfolio. All right, next up is going to be fun because we're going to look at our favorite movies. And I have two that I put down, and I know you have one for sure. Actually, I'm going to only talk about the one. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's The Big Lebowski. And it's a movie mainly about bowling in a way, but excellent as far as comedic value. Absolutely love that movie. So I figured we could look at Brunswick.
Good old bowling coming back, I guess, with people
Yes.
venturing
So
out.
our alleys around here have reopened. My husband and I are looking forward to get back to some bowling. And you can see that the stock is starting to get a little more exciting here with that little bit of a turn here. Again, this is where this stock likes to reverse. And this is a really nice looking reversal. Price is almost above that 50-day EMA. And you can see that the momentum is starting to kind of shift to the upside. And again, I think this would be in that reopening travel, tourism kind of area, recreation, obviously. So I know that was one I had for my
I hope
favorite.
you have your own shoes and bowling ball. I did see a comedic routine that talked about how it's reopening, but we're sharing a lot when you go bowling.
Yeah, well, we've been very big on our bowling. We're fanatics. And so
Mm.
yes, we do have our own shoes. That was one of the first things we bought.
Oh, that's fun.
Don't really like to share my shoes.
No, no.
And we did buy new bowling balls, but we had the pandemic hit, so we never got them drilled. And so we're really looking forward to getting them drilled and throwing those fun looking balls down the alley.
Love it.
So let's talk about your favorite movie.
Oh, yes, this is an absolute throwback, and it takes me back to my childhood. The good old Sound of Music, such a delightful movie if you overlook the real storyline and focus on Julie Andrews' wonderful singing and the children running through the fields of the Austrian Alps. So first up here is Sonos. And this is electronic equipment company that has speakers. And Erin, you did talk about this at the pitch earlier today, that they have now mobile devices, if you will. You can take your music with you. And the stock, I'm going to think here that must have gapped up. Already had events, certainly out here in Los Angeles, in very select indoor arenas, if you will. But you do need to provide vaccination proof, and also there is distancing. But the move is real as far as this particular stock having this nice base breakout here. I would say it probably needs to have a little more in the way of consolidation, but this little pullback could be a nice buying opportunity. Certainly the growth prospects have improved with a number of the vaccinations being rolled out.
Absolutely. Well, this has been really a lot of fun because we've gotten to think about those movies from our past that we like. I'm sure that there are probably newer movies out there than what we talked about, but those are our favorites. And I hope everybody really enjoyed seeing how these movies actually related to some stocks that I think definitely deserve a look or a possible starring role in your portfolio.
Very good. Yes. Popcorn for all.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to close our show and wish you happy trading. And we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
Take care.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.